titillate the juices. You know what? Woo! Right now. Woo! Woo!
Dr. Hughes invites followers. Oh, let's see if they increase now. Me too. Yeah, wow. Dr. Hughes.
Mock-ass mock.
He's a great podcaster.
Trick-ass mock.
Acknowledge me.
We coming for you, nigga. Fat!
Yeah, Dr. Hughes, here we go. Keep plugging yourself, that's cool.
First up, a man whose looks will serve your inner needs and desires.
Dr. Hughes.
Oh, yes. Let's go. Let's pump it up. It's a Tuesday. I mean, how pumped can we really get for a Tuesday? Can you guys hear me out there? I think I'm coming through. There we go. Turn up my headphones. Thank you, producers. You know, all my producers in the back. I have dozens and dozens of them just chilling in the truck outside. Cold as hell out there. Working 24/7, just like for Pat McAfee, Danny. You know, we're going to get into
your favorite.
Oh my God, I love Pat McAfee. He's the man, right? Do I need to get on board with this too? Hopefully not. But anyway, everybody, welcome. Come on in. Sasha Rains, of course, in the house, the correspondent in the chat. Shout out to all the people who are retweeting and sharing and liking and putting this out to all of the huge universe out there. We are live. You never know what day during the week Dr. Huge is going to plan to go live. Sometimes I'll just take a day off because why not? I'm not getting paid for this. So, yeah. Mental health every other day. Totally needed over here.
A duvet day, as we call it over here. You have a day on the couch with your duvet, so it's a duvet day.
Yep. I need one of those every other day at minimum. Okay. Thank you. Don't ever make me get off the couch. Yeah. But if you didn't know, this is Danny Damage over here. One of the hottest expert analysts. Yeah. Tell him that you're the best. That you know everything more than they do. And that, WWE's better than AEW. And, give him some hot takes and let him know.
I'm so good, I don't even have to watch it weekly to know how good or bad it currently is. I just have to hear the tiniest little nugget. And, yeah. I've seen that much of it now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Been burnt so many times, to be honest. So,
what was the first show? You've been to a WWE show, right? I know they're not over there all the time, so.
I've been to like the odd small house show and that a lot, but when I was 8, I went to SummerSlam at Wembley.
Oh yeah, that was the one right there.
Yeah, there was one seat behind me, and then the very back wall with like 90,000 people. So everybody was tiny, but that did not stop me chanting for Bobby the Brain Heenan. Well, shouting abuse at him as an 8-year-old, but yeah.
Bobby the Brain. R.I.P. Quick R.I.P. for one of the goats. Yep, that's why I do this all the time. Sometimes, all the time. We got oh my God, this is going to be the greatest show. I'm thinking coming into this, I'm like, this is going to be the worst show ever. This is probably going to be the worst show I've ever done. And whenever I'm thinking that, it ends up being one I'm proud of, and I would show to everybody's grandparents out there and go, look at what I did. So that could happen tonight. It could be the total shits.
It's the shits.
It's a cliffhanger. Stay hanging in there, and you never know. It could be a good one. Could be a banger, a Sheamus banger, or it could be a Jey Uso banger. Yeah. You know what I mean by that, right? Because Jey Uso doesn't really put on memorable, good matches. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's noticed that. Do you think that's been like a theme out here I've seen online? Get liking, subscribing, and sharing. What are we doing here? I'm about to drop so much knowledge and science on everybody. Fucking share this to everybody. But Jey Uso, these matches aren't like great. Is this nepotism? Is this what I'm seeing?
Yeah. This is. it's identity politics, but I said this on Saturday, I think, but it's Rock style. So there's now 4 members of the Rock's. I say the Rock's family, but the family that the Rock is apparently part of, or kayfabe, part of that family tree. There's 4 of them now that have won the Royal Rumble. We've discussed before, Nia Jax stands out. She might not be the best female wrestler. She might not be the best on the mic, but she has got a bit better on the mic and in the ring. But she stands out. Jey Uso doesn't. There's literally another one of him, just with a different name. And they had a match at WrestleMania last year, and it was one of the worst. Well, not the worst thing, but it just didn't do anything. It was just slow, boring, plain, one-dimensional. No yeet. Not from me anyway.
Yeah, a lot of super kicking. Just saying, especially that last year's WrestleMania, they went full AEW with the super kicks. It was super kick parties.
And when it's an Uso super kick, you know that hand slap starting from like right up here before it then slaps down. It's not even subtle.
They do a yeet on their fucking leg. Yeah.
You could fit at least one Yokozuna between their hand and their thigh before they slap it.
Yeah.
But Jay's over. I'll give him that. I've never said he's not got people cheering and dancing and saying his catchphrase. But yeah, once that bell rings, I'll go and have a piss. I'll make a drink.
Give us a prediction right now. What do you think will happen after WrestleMania is over? Win or lose with Jey Uso in the main event? Main event, Jey Uso going up against Gunther. He comes away with the title, or he doesn't. What happens with him afterwards? Does the heat die off, or does he actually keep going on an incline with the yeeting for 20 minutes at a time?
I think he'll try it. I mean, they're going to have to give him the belt, otherwise they're just chucking him in the water and just keeping his head under. He needs something now, otherwise it's just gonna. People will see that he's just a catchphrase in the dance, and they'll find something new. They'll find a new shiny toy, something else they can dance along to or chant along with. But it's WWE, and historically, even though this is with Vince, historically they'll just drill things into the ground until you loved it 1 minute ago, and the next it's nothing. You're sick of it. It's overexposed, overdone, overplayed. Or was that you cutting off?
There we go. We're back. Yep. Sasha Reigns, yeah, he turns heel. But how could he turn heel? Imagine, after all, even any time in this year of 2025, no way. We're still way early in the year. If he turns heel within this year, that means they totally failed, because the yeeting is bringing them so much cash. And just think about that, Danny. This is why I don't like society or like people in total and stuff. And I know most people out here, especially our viewers and listeners, go follow that podcast, Apple Podcast and SoundCloud, but you guys are great. The rest of yous out here that aren't listening to this right now, you guys stink. Like, a lot of people are just they like everything's been nerfed. The earth and the planets have all been nerfed the past at least 2015, and I'm being generous, but or 2010, 15 years, right? See how quickly I do math? Fucking, oh my God. Me and Bobby the Brain would get along so well with this math stuff. But yeah, I mean, everything's so just dumbed down. I can't stand it in my wrestling. How can you dumb it down for any further? Now we're going to celebrate the yeet. How many years are we going to do this? Okay, I'll give you till WrestleMania. He loses, he wins. Everybody can kind of like see how he's the main event now. Like, he is the guy. He'll have the strap on him, say. And I don't see how that works. I can't envision a future where Jey Uso has the title belt going forward, because they're going to pry that thing away from him, Kofi Kingston style, and like kick him. Yeah. In the head with Brock Lesnar will come out, or Goldberg or somebody, and just take that shit off him like immediately and go to Saudi Arabia. Shout out to you, William. Yep.
Yeah, to go back to the turning heel thing, I can see them doing that as a response if the crowd do get bored of him very quickly, because it's like, oh, we've had our fun with him now. He's finished his story. Oh, he's had his WrestleMania moment. Let's move on to something else. Then, by all means, yeah. If he's not selling merch and that, just turn him heel. It keeps him a bit fresher. But while he's still popular, they'll run it into the ground.
We'll see how intelligent the audience, the mass audience out here. I understand there's a lot of kids, but listen, kids, time moves differently for them. I don't know if you guys remember this, but it's awfully slow. So this could stick around for another year, and that's insane to allow that to happen, because we need to, rebrand on other stuff and make money with other stuff. I'm trying to think business-wise, WWE. I know it's making him so much money, and that's why he's even in this position to begin with. And there you got all the people talking out here and debating and all that. It's good for business. It's all great. But, kids, we can't yeet for this long. Things can't be this cool for this long. That's not how it used to be anyway. And
you certainly can't continuously have him beating people like Gunther, because you're just going to ruin your bloody roster. Gunther, like you just said with the Kofi and Brock thing, Gunther's the sort of person that should just turn up to a match with Jey Uso and just murder him in like 2 or 3 huge moves and be like, yeah, go away. Just silly little goofy man.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Rey Mysterio is even kind of one of them guys. As great as everybody talks about Rey Mysterio, like he's the man, he's one of the GOATs and all this stuff, and he is. But he didn't keep that belt for very long, or did he? I don't know. I was kind of starting to get out of the game at that point.
Honestly, I'm not a huge Rey Mysterio fan. The best thing I think he ever did was that match with the Big Show, where the Big Show when he was strapped to the stretcher, and the Big Show just picked the stretcher up and just swung it. And I like the dynamic with the huge man and the tiny man, but that match specifically just shone a big light on Rey's style, which if you've ever had like your own kids or nephews or something like that, and you've fought with them and wrestled with them, and you're doing all of the work, and you watch Rey's matches, and a lot of his stuff you can tell the other guy's doing like all of the work, and it's not as convincing, and some of it's just so far-fetched, some of his spins and flips, and yeah, it loses me quite quickly.
Yep. So you're more okay.
I was going to say, and it's just because of that style, that's part of the reason you've got a lot of the flippy-dippy shit in AEW. Because Rey wasn't just doing that and like looking impressive and selling masks and merchandise, but he was beating people. Like Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar, maybe he wasn't beating Brock Lesnar, but he was getting the best of some people like Big Show and Brock Lesnar occasionally.
Yeah.
But he was hanging with the top guys, and just for me, it was just a bit far-fetched sometimes.
Yep. All right, we'll get to it, Sasha Reigns. We'll talk about it right now. I had a whole flow going on in my head, but I'm going to put all the brakes on it for you, so you better get out there and like and subscribe and share. See what I do for my people. I wish I had my genders with me. My people. Something like that. I'm the worst impressionist in the world. You'd think I'd be decent with it, for trying to be a radio star, which I am. Huge radio star, like radio exists, right? That would be so cool if radio still existed. People like tuned in, like you get on AM or something, or public access. We don't need that anymore. Now all I have to do is talk about Rusev and Ricky Starks in a Lister Black. Yep. The black ass, the master of the black ass, as I call it. So, what did you think? What do you think about this? Are they just all going to be signed back to the WWE, or are we going to let them hang out here, their dicks flapping in the wind?
Maybe. They do this thing every year. We talked the other night about the releases, and then you'll think, oh, look at that, they've done some spring cleaning, and then they'll just pick other people up out of the blue, and it's like, all right, it maybe was a maybe personal towards the people they've let go, and it wasn't just we've run out of seats. But all 3 of those guys are good. Should definitely have a spot. It's just whether or not they've got time in the current sheet of just who's doing what, and you don't want too many stars. Well, you obviously want stars, but I just mean you don't want to ram it too much, so then people don't stand out and people don't get the time they deserve, is what I mean.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see all 3 of them getting picked up or returning. Maybe you don't need to be on the main roster. Maybe just put one on NXT, or one to NXT, one to Raw, one to SmackDown.
Yeah, spread them out. The hit won't be so major. Like when they brought in those 2 international girls, and I like both of them, Julia and Stephanie Vacker, they did it right at the same time. And then they brought a third one in, that Australian chick that reminds me of Ultimate Warrior there. But that was like 3, like boom, boom, boom. I was like, wow, like that's NXT, which is like they're building them up. It's just like there's not enough spots. So I understand. We went over the list on Saturday. You go watch that video, of course, everybody. And get liking and subscribing and sharing out there. Do it. I mean, I'm not asking, taking the time out of the show to ask for you not to fucking do it. So do it. Thank you. But Blair Davenport, Bully Ray had a story this week or spoke on his show there, Open Toe Radio or something, I believe it's called. And he says that Blair Davenport, he's very impressed with her. And that's because he's a wrestling expert, analyst, journalist, just like Dr. Huge here. She was one of my favorites. And I thought she was going to be like a big thing, Lyra Valkyrie style. She didn't have the look like Valkyrie as much that would please everybody, but it pleased me enough. And she was a great worker in the ring. I thought it was a lock that she was just going to be tried to be fit in somewhere, in WWE. Yeah. So her being on the list confused me. So his conspiracy, let's play some conspiracy music.
Nope.
He thinks that the wrestling business is still like a mafia in a way, and they will fuck with you or your family. If you're got heat with them.
Right.
So there's been word where Triple H and Ospreay were having words back and forth about this and that last year. I'm sure everybody knows. We don't even need to go over it. So it was about Ospreay not working enough, and could he work in WWE and be on that kind of grind with what he does? And Ospreay's firing shots back like, you were just grinding on the boss's daughter. And
that was it. Yeah, I was trying to remember what silly thing he said.
Yeah. And then he said the same Kenny Omega thing where he was like, they're just below me. Why would I go there? And they both say that they're below me deal. They're not below you, bros. Like, you guys are great. You're on my wall right here. Ospreay, before anybody even knew who the fuck you were, 2016, when Ricochet had hair, I knew. So, but you're going to say you're better than the WWE and things. Come on, guys. Cut that out. And that's why this whole thing occurred, because I never knew this, but Blair Davenport here was a thing or is a thing with Will Ospreay. Right. So this is kind of Triple H's way of being like, giving him one of these. Like, go ahead, have your girlfriend back.
Nah, that sounds Vince McMahon level petty. I don't know if that's Triple H best for business petty. Yeah, I mean, it could be true.
And Bully, he at the end, he said, not the total reason, but it definitely, he believes, plays a part in the decision.
Yeah, well, maybe. It's just, like you say, they've got a lot of people on the roster, and if management see two wrestlers, male or female, and they sort of like have a similar idea for both of them, even if they aren't similar in style or anything, but if that's what the booker sees and they have them on two sort of like similar paths, they're just like, we can't do both of these things at once. And if they can't shake the idea of what that second one could do, they'll just be like, well, we'll put them aside, or we'll let them go and just like reinvent themselves, or just get some more grinding in elsewhere. And then they can come back a bit refreshed. But for the time being, they could maybe just, like I say, if they saw Davenport too similar to Valkyrie, for example, they're not going to get that out of their head. So until one of them moves elsewhere and it gives them that space, they just might be like, we just need to just get rid and just make some distance and let them see if they can come back being a bit different. Or it could just be a petty sod and just not like what Ospreay said. But
I'm sure there could be. Hey,
CM Punk said some right shit about Triple H.
Oh, yeah.
And I know there's obviously difference in like who's putting butts in seats compared to that, but still, it's if your ego is as fragile as some people's are, like Vince wouldn't bring
Macho Man back, right?
Yeah, as soon as I started saying that, then I was just like, oh yeah, but Vince did just buckle with some people and he did put his ego aside, even if he didn't like it. If he knew he could make money, he would bring people back. But yeah. I can't see that being the most likely, I'm afraid.
And like a proper journalist, I must tell you that they did get divorced. Thank you, Sasha Reigns. If she says it, it's true. So they were divorced. Blair Davenport. She goes by another name. She was in AEW before. Yeah, she's good. It's fishy. It's just a little fishy. I know there's a lot of people in the business right now over there, but yeah, there's some others you could have gotten rid of, I think, instead. Several.
Yeah, and I know you love your women's wrestling, especially what's in NXT and WWE, but I'm on Jim Cornette's side with this, and there's too many. It doesn't need to be 50-50 of the roster. Women's wrestling should be a special attraction.
35%.
If that, it's like I say, it's just people in general. Blokes don't want to see lasses beating the crap out of each other. It's not an attractive sort of
unless
thing.
It's titillating as well.
But that's not beating the crap out of each other in the same way. That's not like fists and elbows. And
so it's not UFC. They're not coming out there in thongs and beating each other up for real. So
that's elbows tucked in, slapping and pear pulling and rolling around and getting the referee caught up in the rolling around. And I don't need that in my wrestling show, but there was a market for that. And when it was a special attraction, it was really over. And it's like, oh, this should be the piss break match, but the lads would stick around and still watch it for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's too much. So
I'll give you this. The perfect night of wrestling, I think, is, like I said before, more like 70%, 33%, somewhere around there, maybe 105% with 85%. We'll do something like that. And then mostly male, of course, wrestling, the basic stuff that you would have with one gimmick match. You got to have a woman's match. Do what you will. Have the sexiest ladies that can actually work go at it in any type of style match you want. Have the comedy match. You need all these components. It is a traveling circus. You kind of have to hit on a lot of different things. In the sex part of it is, I think, where the women step in, because they're not going to compete physically, obviously, with doing certain things. But now, like, the men wrestle like chicks anyway. They do the flips.
Yeah.
And, it's not like saying it in a bad way. It's more performative than it is a struggle, right? But I know I like it. The sleaze likes it better when it looks like a struggle. Or it looks like an actual fight. But that's most of the card will be that. But then you got to have spots for the other stuff. So that's.
But then But then you get people like Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, and all right, Rousey may have had like attitude issues backstage by all accounts, but then look when they move Baszler up to the main roster, and she's there biting Becky Lynch's neck like some silly vampire sort of like thing, and it's just like,
nuts. Yeah.
Do you remember Baszler and Ronda having that last match of Rousey's? Where Baszler went over, she beat Ronda Rousey, who in their sort of like in kayfabe terms is like the strongest, toughest, most badass woman on the planet. Mm-hmm. And then Shayna Baszler beat her, and what did that do for her?
That was when Vince came back, or before Vince left, right? Yeah. So I can't blame that on this. What's going on right now? That was that horse shit that was going on there.
Yeah. Sorry, my point is they've had lasses like Rousey, like Baszler, like Asuka. I know Asuka sort of like she wears the
who's that?
Asuka, however you want to pronounce it. She sort of like wears the fancier sort of like almost underwear type outfits compared to some of the others, but she's really good, and she flows so well, and she fights like a guy. I know people won't like me saying that because it sounds offensive, but
she's not going to like this.
But she's great, and then they end up booking the bra and panty style lasses and try and pretend that that's not what they're booking, and they try and get them to have the legit shoot looking fights, and it's like, no, I'm sorry, you're just pushing something that's not going to fit properly.
Get the tables in the house. Alista wasn't released. His contract was up, so not release up. They're out of AEW. I'm not really a stickler for the actual factuals, the factual jacktuals, as I call them over here. The sleaze. What is this? I am, and I'm your right about WWE releases to free up money for them. Yeah, They could be freeing up a little bit of side cash, not like they need to.
No.
They're fucking killing it. They're making money hand over fist from Yeet alone. Yeet. Like I said before, when I went into that whole lecture at the beginning of the show about how I think society is crumbling, and one of the examples is, look how much money somebody's making off of the word yeet. Yeet.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's so simple.
Yep. I mean, we used to have the what's. Give me some what's. Yep. Give me some. What else was there? Oh yeah. We had the yes.
Woo. Woo.
Oh, I don't even have it tonight. Yes, woo. Woo's a good one. I mean, jeez. I got Alex Jones with us tonight for our clip later. We gotta run that back. That was great. Let's do it right now. Why not? It's a free flowing show.
But yeah, just to touch on the lasses, one last little second.
Go ahead.
Give the women their own show, and then just let people watch. If people want to watch a full 2 hours of Lady SmackDown or Lady Raw, however, whatever they want to advertise it as, there you go. Then you can just get as many women on that roster as possible. And
you know that will never happen. You think they'll start their own Glow?
Apparently, there's a massive market for female wrestling, so let them have it.
Yeah, and then put all the people on it, like myself, on FBI list. Thank you. Because if you're only watching women's wrestling or something, like if you go on the network and it just says Dr. Huge, 100%, all the archive stuff, all the pay-per-views, I'm not watching anything except the women's wrestling shows. You know, it's a little. Somebody do something about that. Check my computers and things. You know, if I am doing this. Where is it? Where's this video now? Good Lord. What the heck? You gotta love it. I already put this up twice. I'm gonna do it a third time though, because we need to see Alex Jones cut a promo. And some wrestlers out here, they need to take notice here. You're on notice. He's coming for your jobs. He's better than you at this. Where is it? Hold on. Any day now. Let's try this again. The hell, it's right here. And I'm clicking on it. Gotta love these tech. What the fuck is it? All right, we could hear it. I want to see it. Oh my God. I'm going to throw this computer out the window. How can we live in a day and age where we have AI and things? I can't get a video to play on the screen when I already set it up twice. What is this world coming to? I'm going to set up a whole nother scene. Everybody's just going to have to fucking wait. I don't care. We're getting this done. We're doing this. We are. Look at
go. Christ, he is looking slim. Bloody hell.
Looking good, Alex. Let's keep it super big. All right, everybody listen up. Listen closely.
Trump's been fighting the globalists for years, and now he's got them right by the throat. But there's a lot of traitors, a lot of cowards hiding in the shadows. That's why we, the American people, have got to stay focused and have President Trump's fucking back. That's why I'm counting on every person in the Jones InfoWar army to step their game up like President Trump
let's go.
and Elon Musk.
I'm feeling fired up.
The Patriot crew of Spartans are doing. That's why I'm more committed now than I've ever been in the fight. I'm 20 hours a day committed, and I hate it when I go to sleep. I jump out of bed more fired up than ever.
Wow.
With the spirit of 1776.
Wow, he's killing it.
That's why I'm telling the globalists, we're coming for your asses from this mountain.
All right, cut this.
I still look at that.
We can't play this music anymore. He's out of control.
I was waiting for a live read, to be fair. So yeah, he's out of control. He didn't even stop to sell something. So.
Oh, he was about to. Towards the end, he sells. Look at this. Like, it looks like it's close to the end because it is, but boom, look at all this.
He did go a good minute or so, though.
Yep. And then he just hammers you with, like, buy this, buy that. By the way, you can do this with Dr. Huge, too. See how Alex Jones, he's doing this right. I need to cut promos and then be like, buy this and buy my bone broth. And look, I got a big balls hat. Everybody talked about big balls this week, so I'm going to sell big balls.
Oof. Yeah,
You see the
That's
grifting that's going on here? I don't
Yeah.
grift the crowd like this. I never did anything like this. People would ask me for merch, and I'd be like, what you want stuff from me for? I'm just trying to do a show all the time. I can't keep a store together, but I do have a store now, and it's running. So all you people that wanted something, you can go get it. Teespring, it's the Dr. Huge store. Get it? Right? I'll put up whatever you want. You want a big balls merchandise? I can do that.
I'll eat your ass.
Yep, I'll eat your ass even. Go to Teespring.
I'll eat your ass. I'll eat my neighbors.
Mm-hmm. Whatever you want me to do, guys.
I will eat your ass.
There you go. Just Alex Jones, he keeps trying to up the ante on me. But yep. What else can we buy? Well, and there he is freaking out. Boom, boom, boom. All right.
God, he has lost weight quickly, hasn't he?
Yeah. He looked really old. You know, that's why everybody thought he was that comic there from the 90s. What's his name? Bill Hicks. Yeah.
Really?
You've never heard that conspiracy?
No, I've never heard anybody make that reference.
Oh my! I got a lot to tell you right now.
The first time I ever saw a picture of Alex Jones, I hadn't seen a picture of Bully Ray for a while, and I went, "Oh, Bully Ray's got into podcasting," which he now has. But at the time, I was just like, "Is that Bully Ray?" Oh no, it's not. It's somebody else.
Bully Ray. He does look like Bully Ray a little bit.
But he doesn't now. Now that he's lost weight, and Bully Ray's trimmed down too. But Alex Jones is overtaken.
You never know. They could both be Bill Hicks. Maybe. You know, made in the lab somewhere. But yeah, you know the comedian Bill Hicks, right?
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, he smoked. He died of cancer in the 90s. And he wasn't like a huge comedian either. Pretty borderline. He did Letterman, I believe. But which is like a huge thing for comedians back in the day. And yeah, so Alex Jones, you know, they're from the same area.
Right.
They know the same people, like, very well. Like, they're best friends with the same, like, guy that runs, like, production companies and things like that. And then the ties to military, industrial complex, black ops, psyop type stuff, you know? Like, he's connected to all that. I believe Joe Rogan is, too. I mean, you know, I'm not feeling like I want to throw myself out a window or anything like that. I just want to put that out there just in case. But yeah, I think there's a huge pocket of what everybody just considers entertainment when they're just having their heads filled with lies and Satan, right? So I think he's a part of that a little bit. I can laugh at all this stuff, you know what I mean? If I don't, I would go crazy. But I know a lot about these guys, especially this Alex Jones. And you know, I knew about him back in 2005, 2004 is when I first started like really hearing about him. And yeah, it's on all good stuff. You know, I followed him through I see how it's a performance what he's doing, but
oh yeah, he's just got that wrestling rule of being yourself but turn it up to 11.
I don't know where he gets the energy.
Yeah,
where does he get that energy? He's been doing this for over 20 years now, like this. Maybe he is two people. Because he's wild. Yep.
But yeah, if you'd have told me he and Bully Ray are like the same person, just doing like different jobs and just pretending or whatever, or that they're brothers, I'd buy that. But no, I've seen Bill Hicks before, and I've seen a few of his sets. One of my friends at college was a big fan of his, so I absorbed a lot of it like passively.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't sort of like say that he speaks or acts or behaves. He doesn't carry himself anyway. So unless there was some sort of like,
he has a voice that sounds like his that he would do in a screaming way in the act. So they're saying like this whole Alex Jones person is a made up person by like, you know, the shadow government or whatever.
right?
And that he has the same teeth and he has the same like mole or something in the same place. Like, I don't know. I've seen all this stuff on there. I'm not saying it's true, of course. Alex Jones knows all about this because people are like, you're Bill Hicks all the time. And like, all the time, it's to the point where it's kind of crazy. Go look it up sometime. It's hilarious. But
I will do, yeah.
Yeah. Is it true you get hairy palms if you eat too much? I think it is, Kenny. 100% true, because I'm starting to see them grow in, and I've been doing it lately.
It affects your vision too, I've heard.
Makes you what?
It affects your vision too.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
No wonder I need new glasses. I thought I just needed new glasses. Yeah. It's good. What's good with you, Reezy? Look at everybody stopping by tonight. Shouting everyone out. Yeah. Everybody follow each other in here. If you haven't, get liking and subscribing and sharing. Put this all over the interwebs. We got more things to talk about, like this Patrick McAfee. Can we talk about him? And I was screaming last night.
We used to start fangirling over him. Oh, we can't get anything done.
I didn't even know this, because I didn't even watch the Super Bowl this year. I'm so fed up with just all the culture of everything. How about that?
Right.
So when I say the culture, I mean in total, pop culture, whatever's out here. I don't like any of this. Like, this is so anti-Dr. Huge and what I'm all about. And maybe I'm just old school or whatever. But you know what? I like the real, authentic stuff. Even if it's fake, ham it up, but ham it up in a way that is at least semi-good acting or whatever. But this guy, why is he so famous? Why? I keep asking, and I'm not getting good answers. He was just in a Super Bowl commercial. I learned this watching WWE Raw last night, that Pat McAfee is so fucking famous. He's Matt Damon's famous, apparently. He's in a Super Bowl commercial. What?
McAfee. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see the commercial. I don't know. You tell me why he's so famous. He's one of your sports guys. I don't follow sports over here, really, so.
I can't stand him so much. Like, even last night, right? And I know Gunther feels the same way. He's like a real dude. And they even showed a clip of him being a real dude going into that LFG Tough Enough show that they're going to be doing. And he basically told that chick, like, listen, when you talk to me, I'm not spending my time. I'm the champion right now, coming to see you guys. I ask you a question. You give me this fucking pre-scripted, answer. Like, get the fuck out of here with that. You're boring me already. And I don't want that either. I hate that stuff. Stop wasting everybody's time. Stop being boring. I don't know. I just don't know why he's so famous with this face and this head and that attitude and everything. It bothers me. I'm not going to lie.
Has he done anything else? I'm going to say the word just, but or is it just the football thing? Because like I said,
he's like one of the top guys in entertainment.
Right.
Like, he's got one of the biggest podcasts. Hulk Hogan was just on his podcast. Everybody goes on it. He has Bill Belichick. He probably will have like Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, all the top football and sports stars. And it's just, to me, I'm like, this is fucking nuts. This is nuts.
Sounds like he's been positioned as like a new Rogan, sort of like.
Kinda, yeah. And I see, this is what I'm saying. I never fell for that Joe Rogan shit either. I understand he had a great show. Oh, it's a long format. I'm getting to long formats and things. Oh, it's so interesting the way, and he always calls, he's self-deprecating. I'm so stupid. But when you understand who the people that he's having on guests on, like, constantly, and the majority of who his guests are, it's just like, oh, okay. He's
and if you're not, and if you're not a fan of the guest, you're not going to watch 3 hours of Joe Rogan talking to somebody that you either don't know or don't like, or, well, unless someone suggests to you, this guy's going to talk about this topic that you're interested in, so, watch it. But unless you're like a diehard Joe Rogan fan, you're not going to really want to watch 3 hours of him talking to somebody whose conversation you're not interested in.
Some people like that, and they just follow.
Fair enough.
It's all about what's in front of you these days. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not about what's good or even what's bad. It's about what's in your face right now. And that's why it's so hard to build a base of anything these days. Like back, even just like 2016, 2017, when I started doing the podcast, it was fucking easy sailing. It's almost like, okay, so if you're passionate about something and you like just push towards it and you just do it all the time, you can get somewhere doing this. But like now, the game is completely rigged, like beyond rigged. Like not only do you have to pay to play, you have to like do all have all these weird connections if you want to get to these other levels of doing this, right? And those connections are just, it's not about if Pat McAfee can be this uber famous, who can't? In my opinion, it's just not because I dislike this person. I don't even know who he is. It's just talent wise. I'm looking at what's going on and I'm thinking to myself, how the fuck? How?
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
It must be. I don't know what Diddy parties he's been going to, what babies he's been eating with John Cena and stuff out here. But I don't have my John Cena's tonight. I'm pressing other buttons. I don't know. Probably some Alex Jones. See, I shouldn't even be live right now.
All right, see, I shouldn't even be live right now.
Exactly.
God fucking damn it, man. What the fuck?
That's what I say to myself every time Pat McAfee's on TV. You understand? And William disagrees, which watch it, you might get blocked. I disagree about Joe Rogan. He can talk with almost anybody and be entertaining. The modern day Johnny Carson, and I'm not disagreeing with that. Danny's disagreeing with that. He disagrees.
It's just
go ahead.
Oh no, it's just like I say, I've watched quite a lot of Rogan's, at least the earlier stuff, before he was like on the 1,000 mark. But yeah, despite what I just said then about if you're not interested in the guest of that episode, he's got like 2,000 episodes now, so you can just pick and choose and find some. There's plenty of his stuff that you could find that you'd get entertainment from, or that you'd enjoy. So yeah, that wasn't me shitting on him in any way. I will watch Rogan, no problem with it, but just he's got such a wide variety of guests. It's just you can't know or be interested in everything.
Right.
Well, genuinely you can't, but like you just said, people will want to say that they're a part of something and be like, oh, look what I did. And it's not so much enjoying the thing, it's just saying that you're doing the thing.
A buddy of mine that's in the digital money tech biz kind of is telling me all about the stuff that's like happening with AI and things. And he's like, he basically told me in so many words that a lot of accounts that are out here now, so not a lot, some, who knows how many, that they're starting to have AI basically manage their account, speak for them in how they would speak and everything.
Right.
So so I told him, I'm like, tell me who this is, so I had never interact with them, because of course that would just be a waste of time, right? So the reason why I'm bringing this up is just, again, it's the phoniness and the fakeness of everything is going into hyperdrive, and that's why I think the future of the DrHUGEshow and what I'm trying to do here, right, just having guests on doing the normal thing is going to be looked at as old, or old-fashioned pretty quick. And I'm letting everybody know that it will be monitored all by real humans, real human sounds being made, and music and everything. Maybe a picture here or two, so I can have Enzo giving out Air Jordans to like girls in The Bachelor and stuff. So I can tell a story here. But other than that, but yeah. The phoniness, the fakeness, the fake numbers. I get it. Joe Rogan's good. Is he the best in the world? Do you know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm saying? How does that happen? I'm just saying. I'm not saying he's bad, but how is Taylor Swift best in the world? There are corporations and businesses.
Yeah, there you go. It's the television. It's the television. What's the word? It's like the television. Just the whole infrastructure of that has now been transferred onto the internet. And before you could sort of like before they could figure out how to monetize the internet, just average everyday internet users were just able to like run free and do what they want. And like you said, in 2016, 2017, it was easier for you to get to a certain point. But now all these big money players have come in and they've bought websites or they've bought website. They bought like podcast hosts and things like this, and it's TV again now, and it's not just doing the natural thing of just being yourself.
You can't fake the Nielsen. They fake views, followers, you name it. All like everybody. Like, you mean to tell me a housewife on a housewife show can have like 600 million followers or something? Get out of here. And 100 comments or something? Like that type of deal. You see that all over the place. I see it with hack stand-up comics. They have a million subscribers and like 2 comments.
Yeah.
Like, who are you guys fooling? But
themselves, that's it. Themselves and their investors. It's... But it looks good on paper, so I do get it. But yeah, like a natural, more human side of it will shine through. It does. Look at Google with their SEO. They don't want you to use AI to write content. They're not going to rank stuff that's like just been ripped off of somebody else, despite it being Google and being as dirty as some people will claim it will be. Sorry, YouTube. They like with writers, they still do want human writers. They're not going to get replaced by AI because Google can pick out what's human and what's not, and it doesn't rate the AI stuff. It looks for the human touch, and people look for the human touch. And the more robotic and just bloated and just like mass-produced podcasts and music and film and television gets again, people rebel against it, and they'll look for something that seems more natural and more independent.
I'm telling you, they're already doing it. They try to make their stuff look independent and all this stuff. And they have the background like this. You know, they'll even hire people to do this, to play roles like this. I'm not even kidding. This is how...
Oh, yeah.
This is like some Black Mirror shit, you know?
And they'll pay I hate that word, influencers. They'll pay them to, like, infiltrate different markets, be it comics, video games, tabletop gaming, just... Wherever there's people and a pre-installed audience.
Mm-hmm.
But people sniff it out eventually.
William, he says Joe Rogan's the best in the world. All right, here's the best in the world for you then.
This is their plan, people.
That's right. I'm on.
Just like the Bible says.
You're gonna listen to Alex Jones instead. Sorry.
This space through people. I'm telling you, it's what all the ancients said. It's what they warned of. It's what we're dealing with. They're demons. They're freaking interdimensional invaders. Okay, I'll just say it. Make fun of me all you want on CNN or wherever, but everyone already innately knows this. These people are not freaking humans, okay? Hillary Clinton is a goddamn demon.
Thank you for your input.
Wow. Would love some of that. Whatever he's got there.
That was a very long speech too. I sped it up to like quicken the pace, but like it still doesn't work out.
It's naturally like 90 seconds long.
Yeah, you know what I would do if I saw Joe Rogan, William? I would say, "Nice to meet you, sir." I would bend down on one knee and go, "Nice to meet you," and then I'd pick him up over my head and I'd press him a few times like this, throw him in the ocean. That's what I would do.
He would spinning back kick you into next month.
He wouldn't even touch me. Be like grabbing a Chucky doll. You know, how can you be afraid of Chucky? Just grab him by the neck, and then you're all set. And just throw him out the window or something. You know, how much muscle can a doll have anyway, or a Joe Rogan? That's all I'm saying. He's pretty tiny.
If you want to find out, I've done mixed martial arts since I was a kid, and some of the smaller opponents I've sparred with don't underestimate people built like that.
So he's gonna back heel kick me in the ankles. Is that what you're saying?
They'll get underneath your guard. They'll hit, kick, throw you, grab you.
I'll put him in a chokehold.
Yeah.
I put him. He would rush me. I put him in the chokehold and end the match. He'd tap him just like that. I'd put the omoplatas on him. I could Kimura him. I know all about this. I've been watching UFC before rules. Back in the 90s, before they even had rules, and when you needed your dad to go get the VHSs. That's what I did. And then we watched men just obliterate each other on tape.
Well, make sure you get it on film if you do go and offer him one of your limbs.
Yep. I'll heel hook him. I'll fucking rear naked choke. I love the rear naked choke. I'll get right on him, behind him. So easy. I'll step over him, turn around and grab his back and put him in a choke. Just like it's kind of hard to put a baby in a chokehold, similar to that. You know, like mini me. Good luck with that. Hey, Joe Rogan, anytime, bro. I know he's looking at my viewers and he's like, I smell a celebrity boxing match coming up.
This will be mutually beneficial.
Any day now, we'll be doing one of these. Atlantic City, somewhere big, Las Vegas, in the middle of the night, in East Coast time. Stay up to watch me though, Danny. If I do fight him, and you got to be like in my corner. If anything, we'll fly out, be my cut man for my ankles when he like kicks the shit out of my heel. Get it? Because he's this big. He keeps shrinking by the minute. So, yep. Shout out to you, Joe Rogan. You're the best in the world, they say. So I'm coming for you.
It's certainly done a lot for the format. Yeah, it's not radio anymore, but it's a similar type of product as radio. So, and it's long form. So I'll always sort of like say thanks to him, because we could have just had everyone making TikTok videos. Everything could have been 30 seconds long, and that would be it, and that would have become the norm. Well, it is to some people, but because there's an option of 3 hour long format, yeah.
I'll do 4 hours. Is that what you want? I could do 4 hours. I'll have let's have scientists on. The only thing is they don't want to come on here. They'll go on Joe Rogan because he already has gazillion viewers. You see, so I got to start where he started, which is scumbags, Danny, the sleaze. I mean, you can tell by the name, and then in Reezy and such. But I got to start with scumbag comedians. That's what Joe Rogan did. He keeps them around, some of them. He kind of kicked Anthony Cumia to the curb. I don't know if you keep up with any type of comedian dealing.
Tiny little bit, yeah. I know a few of his circle.
Does one of the greatest Jesse Venturas and Dice Clays. Yep. Get off my screen. Why is that still up there? Can't believe this. William, you're in the Hugenverse now. Hugenverse megastar and all this. This is the best in the world now. You're ours now. See? That's how this works. Thank you. Yep, so we talked about that. We talked about this. Oh, speaking of scumbags, Logan Paul had a match with Rey Mysterio last night. And of course he won. Of course. Blasphemy. Again, he beats Rey Mysterio all the time. Yep.
Ray's getting on now.
He is. It was a long match. I was kind of like impressed that Rey Mysterio is putting on such an, 20 minutes or so match there. It's a main event.
What is he now? Like mid-50s? Something like that? He's not like Ric Flair in his mid-50s, so he's not looking that bad. He's
running around.
Yeah, he's looking pretty fit and healthy for his age. I didn't mean anything like disrespectful by mentioning his age, but just that he's older, so I can see him naturally wanting to put younger people over.
Mm-hmm. But Logan Paul,
if he's significantly older than the average roster member, getting in the ring being in the ring with Logan Paul, whether you like him or not, being in the ring with Logan Paul for 20 minutes will do stuff for your brand. Ricochet benefited, I suppose, because that was the most eyes that have ever been on him. Unless his missus is stood next to him and people are paying attention to her and like, who's the little bald guy next to you? But yeah, so we've said before, Logan Paul's maybe not the greatest person to go and have a beer with, but he's got a following, and if you want attention to your promotion, and you want some cross-promotion stuff, I can totally see why they get him.
Yeah, it's a shame. I'm just going, all right, he's here to stay. The crowd's booing him still, and they even said it last night. AJ Styles is like, wow, the crowd's booing you like Dominic, and I'm like, yep, they are. That sucks. Because if you guys out here didn't react, we could get this guy out of here. There's too many wrestlers. We're gonna have Logan Paul in the mix. I'm just trying to really make sense of this. Okay, so he's now in our lives. I get it. He brings them a whole new. Good for the WWE. Good for you, fucking guys. Doesn't do anything for me. So, can Rey Mysterio? I don't know. slam his turkey body off of him, like when he jumps off a steel cage or something. Oh, do something. Take him out, Ray. Get him. You know, and I mean that respectfully, like Danny Damage said. Just a butterball body. Say it that way. Butterball turkey. Yep. So. I don't know. Who else can I offend? Why can't I get these people on my show, Danny?
Who knows? It's a mystery.
It's crazy. They tell me, oh, you know, I've got contracts with WWE, and then they go do Kay Adams. It's like, okay. I'm right here, guys. The real ones for the streets here. These are the real podcasts. Not Kay Adams. She didn't even know who The Undertaker was last week. And I mean that 100%. She didn't know. I know who The Undertaker is, guys. I'm on your team. Say, I'm one of you people out here. You're my people. Like Jinder Mahal used to say. Fuck all these other Pat McAfee's and Johnny Come-Latelys. You know, get out of here. You think they ever heard of Will Ospreay or ever talked about him in their lives? All you people that think I just hate on AEW and the indies? No, of course not. They don't know who he is.
I was going to say, to be fair, that the number of people that know who he is still quite limited.
Wow. Yeah, so, I mean, you want to come for me? You want to come for the king out there? You best not miss. I think that's the quote. If it isn't, I don't know. Fucking at me about it later on Twitter. DrHUGEshow, and follow this and subscribe and all the rest of that. Chad Gable's, I think he's literally going to AAA Mexican wrestling, which is cool.
All right.
You know, he's going to exercise those luchador demons.
Put more of them over needlessly. You've got him putting over everybody that shouldn't be going over him, and Ivy Niles been getting knocked around by whatever Binty Chops his name. I can't remember the name now. Mm-hmm. Maxine
Dupree.
There we go. Right, I need to Renee Dupree's sister. I'll pretend that. Right, I'll try and remember that. But yeah, like Ivy Niles, she looks like a beast. She looks like someone that could have a real big future in pro wrestling. And then they've got like a tart knocking her around and getting the best of her. And it's like, no, I'd buy Rhea Ripley kicking the crap out of her. I'd buy some of like Shayna Baszler or like a wily veteran Asuka getting the best of her, but not model girl. Just, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's,
what are your thoughts on the Creed brothers? They wrestled the Biker Raiders last night.
Yeah, they look the part. They've smoothed out a bit since they were in NXT, because in NXT they went full bore and they were a bit rough. I don't think some of the people that they wrestled with enjoyed working with them, to be honest, because they weren't sort of like all the power and any control. It was just all the power. So yeah, with the right guidance in that lot, they could be. They should be big.
Yeah. We know who Jerry the King Lawler is, of course. Everybody does. But do they know who... I'm trying to think of somebody. Wardlow. Where's Wardlow been anyway? He's one of those guys that's all fighting with AEW too. Like, how could that even happen? I don't want to get into it. I'm just kind of saying that, throwing that out there. We'll bring that up on another day. I'm sure there will be news at some point, but what the fuck is that? Like, is he really just not wrestling and under contract and he's fine?
From apparently, yeah. It's just another one that they've just squandered. It's they had like a Goldberg sort of type, just wrecking ball character, and then he beat MJF just before MJF won that belt, and it was like, oh, that was a nice little bit of storytelling, because then he could turn around and be like, hey, I beat the champion. And then they just didn't know what they were doing with it. They just got him to do like 5 power bombs in a row, and then 6, and then 7, and then I think the fans just got bored of it.
Yeah, that's a brutal fumble right there, as the kids. Yeah. But the last thing I'll bring up, to go with what we were talking about earlier, just all the phoniness of everything, the Super Bowl, and why I can't get into like any type of culture until it like gets a little bit more genuine and authentic. If you want to make something that's crazy and stupid, do it. If you want to make something that you think offends people in one way or another, do it. Do it. That's all I got to say to everybody, because whatever we're getting from the world in whole just stinks. And I think this halftime show kind of just shows you like where we're at. And it's not to say Kendrick Lamar is bad or good or what have you. It's just like nobody really kind of knew, like, nobody really knows who he was. And it's not his fault. It's because there is no music business anymore. Not the way it used to be, you know? Like the biggest, if you sold as much as he used to back in the day, everybody would know who you were. They would know all your songs. But there is no like radio anymore because that's gone. Everything's gone. And now all this stuff is like manufactured. So what I'm saying is I don't even know their songs. How crazy is this? I grew up on hip hop music. I never heard a Kendrick Lamar song unless it was like in a video game or something or in passing. I recognize a few of the beats because I'm like, oh, I've heard this. But the point is, with Kendrick Lamar, I'm hearing some of the lyrics and the turn the TV off and the this and that. You're on TV. You're on the Super Bowl. You're coming off as anti-establishment and you're on TV talking about turn off the TV. And who knows? Maybe I don't even know the song and it has no context. That maybe it means it in some other fashion or something like artists like to do. But I'm saying like, his vibe is like he's anti-establishment. No, we ain't. You think Snoop Dogg is too? And John Cena and all the rest of them? Yeah.
Snoop Dogg's turned more times than the Big Show. Just to bring it back to wrestling. But it's a lovely little indie show Kendrick Lamar had there. A little intimate indie gig he did. That little up-and-comer, little scrappy up-and-comer. Fighting tooth and nail and avoiding all the big gigs and...
Yeah, and I don't know if you know, Danny, the Super Bowl is massive over here. Like, it's people like want to make it a holiday and shit, so they don't have to go to work the next day. And like people make a big deal out of the commercials in the halftime, especially the halftime. You have to be like mega huge to do a halftime show, like mega huge. Michael Jackson, Prince, Kendrick Lamar just doesn't come off to me as mega huge. That's why when they did one of them rap things earlier, you couldn't even just do it with Eminem or 50 Cent or Snoop. You had to put them all together. You know what I mean? To be a Michael Jackson, to be like Elvis, you know? And now we've gotten to the point where we're at like now Kendrick Lamar, who's playing as an activist on TV or something. And it's just.
But yeah, that's what they want to put over. They're not wanting to put over a great halftime show that's just entertaining. It's just like, look at all the modern films that have been remade for a modern audience, and it's just they've got your attention. It's bait and switch. They've lured you in with the promise of football. You've got a bit of your American football, and it's like, while we've got you here, let us tell you about this philanthropic adventure, or this. Let us just let you sit down with this activist for 10 minutes, or yeah, people can see it. It's not as subtle.
Or how does this? Go ahead.
No, just before with pop music, it was on the radio all the time. So it's like, all right, they're at least making the effort to pretend that they're actually selling music because it's on the radio. It's also on adverts, commercials, and that's primarily what a lot of it's for. It's just meant to be backing music for either commercials, for TV shows, for soaps, just wherever they can get it. And because they don't have as much with like the TV side of things, it just seems more obvious, I think, to people. So they see it and they're just like, no, it's just halftime sales now. So they just turn it off. And when you've got people getting excited over like actual commercials, because it's like, oh, let's see what's on what Super Bowl commercials we've got this year. It's like, this is when you're meant to really go for a piss. You're not meant to get this excited about sales and advertising as you are. To bring it back to Bill Hicks had that joke about people in sales and marketing. I don't know if I know. But he told people, you know, if you're in sales or marketing, you should go and do something because we don't want you around because you're awful people. And I used to think that was a bit harsh, that joke. I got the joke, obviously, but I was like, nah, you maybe been a bit mean. But if you've ever been on LinkedIn and used that, or tried to use it, I'm like, yeah, maybe that is funnier, actually. But you can see why you'd get upset with salespeople. And now they're just, it's shameless. Like I say, you've got people like simping for commercials, simping for adverts. It's just behave. You're meant to be annoyed with adverts and be like, oh, look what they're selling us now. Let's just go and make a drink or a sandwich or something at halftime.
Yep.
But people stick around for it. And it's like, oh, yeah, it's like a little mini film. And
I noticed in the 2000s, maybe it was my age or maybe they've done it longer, but the advertising started seeping into the shows. So like this talk show, all of a sudden I'd be like, look at this, what I'm drinking right here. And then I'd just start talking about it, just being like, oh yeah, I really like this stuff. I don't know. And you go, I don't sell it or anything. It's just really good and blah, blah, blah. They started doing that type of advertising. Now it's like seeped into everything. So nothing's real. Like none of it's real. That's why you see The Rock out here. People are clowning him a few times over when he's like, oh yeah, I've never eaten at this place before. What's this burger? What's a cheeseburger? And it's like, Negro, please. You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking?
I've never drunk water before. This is the best thing ever. Do you believe me?
Danny Damage water. Look at this, folks. Go buy this. You know, but yeah. So, of course, they're not going to include people at the Super Bowl like William Robinson says in New Orleans area where they're having it. Because it's just a whole corporate thing. You know, they're going to take care of the hooers that come in there more than anybody else. Because, I mean, these Super Bowls, I don't know if you guys know this, but they're like the hooer capitals of the world on those days. They fly them in from everywhere. Because all the business people are at the game and, you know, they get those tickets from some of the big corporate people and this and that. And then they fly in hookers.
Like wrestling tries to emulate that.
Mm-hmm.
They try to do that whole thing. So look at Raw on Netflix's debut and like, oh, look at all the celebrities. And they're people that don't give a rat's ass about wrestling, but they just know it's a big thing on telly and they know it's going to get them like a bit of attention. So they come in and, I mean, that's a Vince thing that wanted him to be more of a sport, like more like a sport than like a pro wrestler, than its own thing. It was his own beautiful thing once upon a time. But he's just tried to get that sports entertainment part over so much. It's just a shadow of its former self, and now I'm sounding old. I understand that. But it's the same thing when people can just see that it's just all adverts, and WWE isn't subtle. I mean, you've heard me whinge about bloody wrestling, just adverts too much. It's like Monday night adverts. That's what all Raw is to me. Super Bowl does it, and yeah, and they put the tourists or they put the day passers or however you want to phrase them, they put them before the people that are there all the time. And it bugs the people that are like, the people that are there all the time buying t-shirts and tickets all year round. They get pissed off because it's like, stop putting the tourists ahead of me.
It's true. Oh, and there's one last thing with Kendrick Lamar and this whole halftime deal. I don't see how it works to anybody's benefit. Like, if you don't like somebody and this isn't a work, right? This deal with him and Drake.
All the feud,
I know nothing about it. I could give a shit. I could care less about this. But everybody, you know, the big news was, did you see him look at the camera when he said Drake? Like, wow, he got him. He got him good last night. He really stuck it to him when he looked at that camera and was like, yeah, and you're and probably a chomo, I guess. And I think there's some him calling him a PDF file too out there.
Right.
So there's something about that, but the main thing was the picture and him walking by in bell bottoms, by the way. Are bell bottoms cool right now? I didn't know that. I think we're in an age where you can pretty much just do anything and get away with it. I don't think there is a style anymore. Like, you know, you had the 70s styles, 80s, 90s, 2000s even. And then after the 2000s, it just kind of went, now it's just all like a mush of whatever anybody's into, you know? So, yeah, the point is for this, Kendrick Lamar, you really think that was like what's best for business? Unless it's a work, like I said. So, because you bring up Drake, and now that's the topic for everybody, for your whole halftime, and now it's all about Drake again. Okay, weird. It's a little weird to me.
Yeah, I think most rivalries in rap have been works, to be honest. It benefits both people. Just rile your own fan base up, and it's just like politics. They'll all just be laughing and joking and drinking and partying out of the public's eye. Yeah, but it's good for business. I do get it. But yeah, sometimes when they just go on about hating each other so much, it's like, I'm not buying it now. Just get a room or get a wrestling ring and sort it out. But you need to break the tension somehow.
and you got to say super negative stuff because you can't. It's like going out and doing a wrestling show in the 60s or whatever. You got to like actually hit each other. You're not. What are you gonna like? Miss or super kick somebody and slap your leg in front of those people? Like they probably would still believe it anyway. But I mean, you know, they don't want people going, huh? That don't look like shit. You know, that's like the Jim Cornette mindset. That looks like shit. And it's just, like this whole thing. And I smell it off of these guys, all the rappers, like you said. This is, and it's nobody's getting it. Everybody's out here acting like this is like a major storyline and something actually, all you're doing is giving them money. The end. That's
advertising and hyping them and promoting them and prolonging their little feud and the little worked rivalry.
Yep. Like
it's getting caught up in the pantomime element of it. And I'm not going to criticize people too much because I do with wrestling and do with TV and film and anime and comics and everything else you get involved in. But yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is. A great Bill Belichick quote, you know, because he never said much on when he got up there to talk to the media. And you shouldn't. If the media is asking you questions, and especially if you see me in a room, you know, because who knows? I'm going to be going. WWE is not too far from me. I can always drive down 95 and go to Stamford, Connecticut, where all the pussies live, as Del Rio used to say, and talk to their media days and you know all the shit that they do. So, you know, if they don't allow me to do that, then they'll be racist. So they don't want to do that, especially anymore. Then we don't do that in Trump's America, right, Danny? Not in Trump's America.
Apparently not.
We're going to get Dr. Huge over in Trump's America. No more holding me down like back in Biden's America and COVID's America and all that stuff. That was holding me back. No longer. Let freedom ring, right? Thank you. I'm going to run for office maybe after Trump and, you know, make America greater.
Greater.
How about this? Make America greater more. I think we said it all, folks. We're going to fix America even better. Fix America more better. That's what we're going to do for everybody out here. I'm going to try to speak your language. I'm going to go get a weave like El Chapo or whatever the guy was in Idiocracy, the president there.
Make America yeet again. There you go. That can be yours.
I could easily run on that. I'll just buy some yeet merchandise. I'll have Jey Uso come out with me. He'll be my running mate or something. He'll be my like RFK or Elon Musk.
Yeet! Yeah, just hype man. Just warm the crowd up.
And I'll have to tell him, listen, Jey Uso, when you go out there, make sure you yeet, but you don't do the Nazi hand signs. Okay? Yeah. Please don't do the Roman salutes. Just stick to yeeting. I got to remember to say that when, you know, we go to the INC, the Independent National Convention. That doesn't happen over here. We're going to start that too. We got to start a lot of things, everybody. Yep. Read any good wrestling books? We'll answer one more question. How about you? Have you, Danny, ever read any books ever in your life?
Yeah, not really. Not recently, sorry. The last wrestling book I read. Jim Cornette's graphic novel, which that was still like a couple of years ago when I read that. Yeah, I don't think I've read any wrestling books recently.
The last one was Mick Foley for me. Back in the day.
Yeah, I've got Have a Nice Day over there somewhere. I did get my missus. It was a book about the territories that she wanted last year. I can't remember what it was. Shit, I can't remember what it was called, but if I saw the name, I'd remember it. But yeah, I haven't read not any recent ones now.
Yeah, you have to tell us about some at DrHUGEshow at what is it, Danny Damage on UK or on
at Blunt Damage.
At Blunt Damage.
Yeah.
There you go.
I've recently got into One Punch Man, which I'm caught up with now, which isn't a wrestling book, but that's just what I've been reading.
That's another thing that never made sense to me. I'm like, how can American comics stink so much? They're like going out to lunch all the time and like nobody fights. Like it's just it's the feminist shits. And then the Japanese get over One Punch Man and Chainsaw Head and all this stupid shit. It's like, you can't. How is that so much more over than, I know why it is. It's because, who wants to watch She-Hulk and the X-Men go to lunch every day? Not me. But
She-Hulk twerks in her office. Nice one. That'll put butts in seats.
Yep. All right. Well, I want to show you this picture, at least from the Super Bowl, since I forgot, and then we'll leave. But there he is. There's Taylor Swift's boyfriend leaving the Super Bowl.
Oh, there we go.
And I loved it.
Thank you for clarifying that, because that was going to be my guess. But yeah.
Would you think it was like a NSYNC member or something leaving, or?
I was going to guess it was one of the players, but I wouldn't have known who it was just from the name. But saying Taylor Swift's arranged boyfriend, yeah.
Wearing a Seth Rollins outfit. He stole that. Seth Rollins wore this last couple weeks ago. Remember when I was making fun of it to him? Like it was all poop colored or whatever?
Yeah.
That's it.
It looks pretty sad. He needs the John Cena sad version of John Cena's theme music playing him out, I think. Yeah.
All right. All
right.
Right.
Slowly walking out.
We killed it tonight. See, best show ever. I thought this show was gonna suck, and it was one of the greats. So everybody out there, like, share, subscribe, send this all over the world. We got more clowning to do later on this week, and especially Saturday at 2 p.m. Live, be in the chat. We turn these into podcasts. Go check them out on the podcast. Go check out my EDM album, right? It really isn't dance music, though, so let's just call it electronic music. Go check it out. There it is. I'm hitting the right button. Yep. See, I do things. I could write some wrestlers' music. Hey, if you're fed up with that Def Leppard music or whatever they call themselves, come over here. Their drummer doesn't even have an arm, I heard. So
let's go. One arm.
So
the drummer from Def Leppard's only got one arm.
I got like unlimited amounts of arms, technically, with the music I make. So, yep, do that. Go to the Dr. Huge store. Go buy a shirt, buy a hat, buy a mug. I've been selling some mugs lately. We're doing it. Got a fanny pack over there. Be the coolest kid on the planet. And we'll talk to you guys later. And go follow Danny everywhere, by the way, too. And go follow each other.